Martin, you know, from where you sit, and you know, the Deputy President coming out very clearly saying, you know, the failures within the Jubilee government are not my own. But this is part of a, you know, a presidency.
Ruto is a master of double speak. You know, you can't cherry pick the successes and run away from the failures, especially in the first term. For all intents and purposes, he was part of the presidency. In fact, he's denying it, but he didn't need to say it. He was behaving and acting like a co-president. And it was out there. He used to say, "Mimi na rais," everywhere he went. So the clips are there, you know. He didn't need to say that Mimi kama co-president. He just used to say, "Mimi na rais," and that was enough. And the power, you know. So the successes which were achieved in the first term, let him take credit. But he must also take responsibility for the failures. You don't cherry pick some, and the ones which you feel are not going to help you, you want to transfer the blame elsewhere. The second term had challenges. But you know, when you look at the performance in the second term, Uhuru seems to have achieved more in the second term than he achieved in the first term.
What parameters do you
look
use
at
to
even
gauge
the number of roads they have done, kilometers. It's there. Look at the economic survey. So you can be able to see that in the second term, when he had sidelined him, he managed to get quite a number of things moving.
But it is the president as well who said during the Madaraka Day speech that a lot could not be done because of what has transpired within, you know, the Jubilee government, his government, and the disgruntlement within the presidency.
Yeah, they have had those issues. You know, the Ruto-Uhuru ticket, the problem was how they came together. What brought them together? You know, in 2007, Ruto was on the ODM side. Uhuru was on the PNU side. So we end up with ICC in a disputed election, then we end up at ICC. So it is the fear of ICC that brought them together. They had nothing ideologically that brought them together. So out of that fear that, look, if we don't come together and galvanize our communities to get power, because they were not ready to govern the country. They were ready to get power, galvanize their communities, so that they use those numbers to get power, to shield themselves from ICC. So they effectively rallied their communities, whipped up emotions, got the communities to rally behind them, and managed to get power. So when they got in there, then the realities started playing out. But because Uhuru also realized that he needed Ruto, if he was going to dump Ruto in 2017, Ruto would have just simply jumped and gone the other side. So there is no way Uhuru will have been re-elected. So to secure a second term, he tolerates Ruto with whatever excesses or whatever issues he was not comfortable with. Because by that time, ICC had more or less been settled. But he realizes, look, let me keep him close, let him help me jump. Then once he jumps, now he goes to his true self. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Now he brings in his brother, the handshake brother, to now help him checkmate this one, and also help him stabilize the government.
Joseph, do you agree that this was from the beginning, you know, a marriage in convenience that suddenly has gone sour?
It was truly a marriage of convenience, really. They came together to skip the ICC indictment. But if we go back to that interview, and people must not look at the Uhuru government from a 2017-2022 scenario as a handshake government. People need to look at it from 2013 to today in totality. The cabinet ministers that Ruto proposed to Uhuru were retained by and large. The cabinet ministers who were proposed in 2013 to 2017 that came from Ruto were maintained. The ones we proposed in 2017 to 2022, Uhuru did not sack. The permanent secretaries that Ruto proposed in this government were all there, valid, enjoying the perks of government. So don't look at the position of the deputy president as a standalone thing and say, I am not part of the government because me, Deputy Ruto, I am frustrated. But his people in government were there. His names that he forwarded to execute mandate of government were there. Therefore, when he says the successes I will enjoy, the failure I will stay away, is really eating your cake and having it. He needs to take total responsibility of this government. His nominees ran critical ministries in this government. His nominees took us to where we are today. The public debt challenge that we suffer today was because of the loans that were picked in the era of 2013 to 2017. Yeah? So now, when you look at this thing in totality, those debts that were taken to execute certain documents are today the ones that are ballooning to a point where we cannot borrow more, that needs to be paid. There are no new debts. Whatever debts that were taken in the era of 2017 to 2022 will be felt in the 2022-2027 time. So this argument of the deputy president of saying the success I will shine under, the failures of Uhuru I will blame on the handshake, is really missing it's only for the fools. And he has a very nice statement that he says, Wajinga Kenya waliisha. So he cannot use it to bash other people, but when he's put on account, he quickly says, I'm not responsible for the failures. Handshake was just a peace document, bringing people together. The rest of the failures of this government, if there are failures, must be attributed to him and the people he nominated and Uhuru and the key positions that he gave to them.
And I can see Joy in complete disagreement with what you're saying. Joy, the deputy president has not once but a couple of times talked about, of course, after the handshake, he was sidelined in government completely. So his say was, you know, according to, and whatever work that he did as a deputy president was according to what he was given on the side
of this
government.
But it's also very clear. The composition of the cabinet, president and cabinet secretaries. The nominees, Uhuru brought his nominees in that cabinet. DP Ruto gave his nominees in that cabinet. The fact that him as a person was sidelined, which we can all agree, we saw the differences in opinion that were playing out publicly. But now, his people...
Let's get Joy.
His people were there.